Deep Dive, the mystery of the princess's lip.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's Deep Dive. Today, we are going to talk about a historical event from antiquity that will truly give you goosebumps. We aren't just here to tell a dramatic palace story. Instead, we're going to use this event to dissect the deepest, most hidden mechanics behind human behavior. This story is essentially a psychological key to understanding why humans make extreme choices. Alright, no more preamble. Let's jump straight into it. Picture the scene in your mind. The Buddha had returned to the city of Kapilavastu to accept offerings. With everything concluded, he turned to leave. His former partner, Princess Yasodhara, was standing on the second-floor balcony of the palace. Her eyes filled with longing as she watched the Buddha walk further and further away. The very moment the Buddha's silhouette completely vanished over the horizon, the princess completely broke down. Driven by an overwhelming, utterly uncontrollable surge of emotion, she did the unthinkable. She jumped straight off the second-floor balcony. That's right, she just leaped. This forces us to ask why. Why would a princess of such noble status, living a life of immense luxury, give up her very life for another person? This absolutely cannot be dismissed as mere lovesickness or a moment of impulse. Behind an extreme behavior that seems completely devoid of reason lies a chain of cause and effect that defies imagination. It is truly worth digging into. To crack this massive mystery, today's analysis is broken down into 5 parts. The shocking leap, echoes of the past, decoding karmic momentum, the power of true repentance, choosing the right path. Part E, the shocking leap. At the critical, split-second moment when the princess leaped from the building, a miracle happened, according to historical texts. Because of the Buddha's immense spiritual blessings, the rock-hard ground instantly became as soft as cotton. When the princess hit the ground, she was miraculously unscathed, her life completely spared. This breathless moment set the stage for a shocking revelation. Just imagine the monks who witnessed this firsthand. Their jaws must have dropped. Just like us today, their minds were flooded with questions. They rushed to consult the Buddha Blessed One. What kind of past life connection could possibly drive the princess to willingly sacrifice her life for you? The Buddha gave an answer that made everyone gasp. He said, actually, this is not the first time she has sacrificed her life for me. Part R, echoes of the past. To make sense of those words, we have to take a trip back in time to Varanasi in ancient India, to look at a completely different past life memory. This is a profoundly dark tragedy. One morning, King Brahmadatta got lost while hunting in the forest. He stumbled upon a couple of Kinnaras, mythical half-human, half-bird beings who were leisurely playing the lute. By midday, as the king looked upon the beautiful wife, an intense wave of greed overcame him. Without a second thought, he shot a poisoned arrow and murdered the husband. However, by afternoon, the wife not only resolutely rejected the king, but after properly laying her husband's body to rest, she threw herself directly into a roaring fire to die with him. Witnessing this, the king was struck with ultimate remorse. By evening, he penned a poem filled with agony, reflecting on how his selfishness had cost her lives, leaving him with absolutely nothing in the end. But hold on, here comes the most shocking truth. The Buddha revealed at that moment the husband killed by the poisoned arrow was the Buddha in a past life, and the wife who leapt into the flames, yes, that was Yasodhara. Do you see it? History, separated by multiple lifetimes, repeated itself with staggering similarity. Part 7, decoding karmic momentum. This is truly fascinating. How are we supposed to interpret these repeating tragedies? Why do these extreme, reflexive actions manifest across time and space over and over again? Here, we need to introduce a core concept, the result of concordance, otherwise known as karmic momentum. The texts make it very clear that Yasodhara's leap this time around was by no means a random act of madness. It happened because when she first resolved to follow the Buddha lifetimes ago, she made an incredibly powerful vow. This deep-seated obsession and habit formed a massive inertia like a rolling snowball that carried through countless past lives into the present day. In other words, that momentum had long been hard-coded into the depths of her consciousness. And we must never underestimate how long this momentum can last. It stretches far beyond our imagination. The text provides a vivid example. The Sutra of 100 Karmas mentions that if you habitually insult others by calling them dogs, the momentum of that resulting concordant karma will cause you to be reborn as a dog for hundreds of lifetimes to come. This perfectly proves that intense habits or emotions never simply vanish into thin air. So, the next time you want to lash out at someone, please take a deep breath for 3 seconds. That repercussion will echo across the river of time. However, we must add an important caveat. In the end, Yasodhara successfully attained the state of an arhat enlightenment. Do you think she just got lucky? Absolutely not. While she carried deep attachments, she had simultaneously accumulated an immense amount of spiritual merit. Think about it. If she hadn't strictly maintained her precepts, practiced generosity, and held fast to her vows lifetime after lifetime, she wouldn't have even secured the ticket to meet the Buddha and attain liberation in her final life. This tells us that the momentum of our actions must be built upon a correct and wholesome foundation to bear fruit. Part C. The power of true repentance. Hearing this, you might think, oh no. What if I have a negative karmic momentum running in destructive loop in my own life? Can I slam on the brakes? The answer is yes. But you have to completely invert it. Many people think repentance just means feeling a bit guilty and saying a superficial I'm sorry. I won't do it again. But within this karmic operational framework, that is utterly useless. The texts emphasize that true repentance requires you to physically and completely halt the unwholesome behavior, pull a 180-degree turn, and actively transform the 10 non-virtues into the 10 virtues. You must fundamentally alter both your psychology and your behavioral patterns. Only then is it possible to truly sever that negative karmic momentum and avoid the impending negative consequences. It is, in essence, a powerful form of self-reinvention. Part 2. Choosing the right path. Now, we come to the final piece of the puzzle. How do you ensure that your life's momentum is moving in the right direction? To be honest, the conclusion here is a bit brutal, but highly realistic. Imagine if Yasodhara's profound love and devotion so intense she would die for it was directed not at the Buddha, but at an ordinary person, or worse, a malicious person. The texts give a blunt answer: she would be trapped in an endless cycle of suffering within samsara. Exactly, if your momentum is incredibly strong, but you follow the wrong person or walk the wrong path, that blind attachment becomes a heavy anchor, dragging you into a bottomless abyss. How do we guard against this? The texts put forward an ultimate weapon: Dharma Vikaya, the wisdom of discrimination, the analysis of qualities. The scriptures share a story of a great patron who saw teachings from many different religious sects. What made him brilliant was his possession of this exact analytical wisdom. He could keenly discern where the ultimate truth resided, in which teachings were merely half-baked. This demonstrates that when you possess powerful inner momentum, you absolutely cannot afford to lack the highest grade navigation system, the wisdom to distinguish right from wrong and to perceive ultimate truth. Conclusion. So, when we look back at Princess Yasodhara's shocking leap, do you still see it as just an ancient story of a woman dying for love? In reality, it is a staggering, concrete manifestation of deep human habits and behavioral momentum. To wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a question to ponder in your daily life. Are you also being unconsciously dragged along by some powerful inertia? And most importantly, are you ready to cultivate the wisdom needed to choose a truly correct path for yourself? Thank you all so much for watching today's analysis. I hope this gave you a fresh perspective. I'll see you next time.